Hey, ladies, welcome to another Self-Love Conversations. My name is Gloria Ward, and I want every mom to go ahead and listen tonight because we are going to talk to no other than the amazing, exuberant, that's what they told me to say, life coach, Miss Jeanette Jones. And what we're going to talk about is how do you go from mom to empty nester? How do you actually start to live your life once the kids are gone? Now, I'm so glad that you're here, Jeanette, because a lot of our moms struggle with this, right? And
Oh,
even with,
absolutely.
and look, even when Mother's Day is coming up on Sunday, every mom that I ask, I'm like, yeah, oh, so what are you gonna do for Mother's Day? I just want peace. I don't wanna, I don't want anything. I just wanna binge watch my shows. And I'm like, yeah, right. Like,
Right.
once the kids get there and you see them, it gotta be something different. So thank you so much for being here. I really
Thank-
do appreciate it.
Yes, and thank you for having me. And I am delighted to be here to just explain to some moms that, hey, we got to take some time for us.
Now, you're gonna have to explain how can that happen, especially for a mom who is going through a graduation right now with their
Yes,
kids
yes.
who is leaving high school and about to go to college? How can they start to process this whole thing of being an empty nester?
It's a long process. I'm not going to tell anybody it's something overnight that you're going to just, oh, yes, I'm glad the kids are gone. I'm glad the child is gone. I'm glad and
Yeah.
I'm free. It's not that way. It's not. My story, Gloria, is my daughter moved out. She was about 25, and I had been single, since me and her dad split. She was like 4. I've been single, in and out of relationships, but single.
Right. Right.
And I didn't even realize we moved from Richmond, Virginia to Atlanta, Georgia. And, it was a lot to do in Atlanta. So we just going to
Yeah.
malls, restaurants, shopping, and everything. And I'm like, okay, this is what we do.
Yeah.
When she moved out, I'm like, wait a minute, I'm single. It's just me. Who is Jeanette? What
Yeah.
does Jeanette want to do?
Yeah.
What does she like to do? What's her hobbies? Who
Mm-hmm.
is she? So those
Mm-hmm.
are the things that I struggled with once my daughter moved out. Like I said, we had a dynamic time together. I just wrote a book called Step by Step Walk with God, the Everlasting Anchor. And in that book, I talk about my times with my daughter, how we vacationed, and how our first vacation, we from Richmond, Virginia. So our first vacation was at Virginia Beach.
Okay.
And we had a king size bed. She had never seen a king size bed. So she's like, oh my God, these pillows are big as Texas. So we both
Yeah.
just laughed so hard with that. But that was our first vacation together. Then each year after that, we would take vacations together. Everything was surrounded by my daughter. It was like my whole
Mm,
life.
okay.
Nothing, outside of her really existed to me other than my siblings. That
But
was
did they is a transition like I don't have any kids, so I'm
Mhm.
actually learning. But is a transition like they become your child and then all of a sudden as they grow, they become your friend and then it's like your friend moved away and now you're trying to figure out what you like you have to what you like to do by yourself, or is it more like, damn, my child is gone, so I really don't have nobody to look after or take care of?
It's
You know
all
what
of
I'm
that.
saying? It
It's
is.
all of that. It is all of that. Trust me. So, going forward, my daughter, she moved out. I knew time was going to come because had finished undergraduate, graduate school. And, she's like, Mom, I'm looking for a townhouse. And I'm still like, uh-huh. Okay, let's
Yeah,
look, you know. But
yeah.
when she moved out, I mean, I just felt one night it just became over. I just became very emotional. It felt like everything was just closing in on me, like even a panic attack, just about. It
Hmm.
was like I was, alone. And it
Hmm.
felt like, okay, like you said, who am I going to care for now? And who's going to hang out with me? Because the relationship, yeah, had changed from me taking care of her to us being like roommates, we're
Yeah,
hanging
yeah,
out, we're shopping and stuff. We neither one of us the party type, so we didn't do that. But the
yeah.
shopping, the restaurants, we tried every restaurant in Atlanta, every mall in Atlanta. We could tell you right
Yep.
now where the malls, where the restaurants. But
Mm,
it just became very overwhelming, and I had to learn who Jeanette is. What is it that Jeanette really wants? I was in the middle of my master's program for community counseling. So I was in the middle of that, and I knew I wanted to do that. So while I was there, I did my internship, and I met some people that was into Chicago stepping, and I always loved dancing. But I put
yeah.
my daughter in dancing. I didn't do it myself.
Oh,
She
gotcha.
danced with Richmond Ballet Company, so I had her in
Hmm.
dance. When I knew I liked dancing, why I didn't take the time for myself. And this is what
Right.
I want women to know. Take that time for yourself,
Hmm.
because I poured so much into her. It was like the dance, the everything for her. And
Yeah.
so after she moved out, I started taking dance lessons. I'm like, oh yeah, I like this.
But what is it that you believe, you think, in your opinion, is the reason why, like, women, we get lost in the children? Like, is it because you're the nurturing type and, this is all it is? Or, why is there no balance? Because it's like, this is something that's universal, in
It
your
is.
opinion.
And you're exactly right, Glenn. That's why I chose to do this as a business to help women realize that they are important. And I think God gave us that nurturing ability to nurture people. And it's not by
Hmm.
accident because we're good at
Right,
it. We're good at it.
right,
But it's
right.
also our greatest downfall if we don't create boundaries. And that's the
Hmm.
key right there, to create boundaries. I had no boundaries. I was
Gotcha.
being her, because I divorced early when she was young. So I was being a mom, a dad, everybody she wanted me to be, her best
Right,
friend,
right.
everything, anything and everything she wanted me to be, and not, creating boundaries for myself. And I think it's very easy for us to slip into that role because that's who we are as women, whether it's your children, husbands, boyfriends, parents, or whomever you're trying to nurture. It's just natural for us. But that's why I
Hmm.
want people to learn the 6 pillars of a victorious woman so that they can know, hey, there's boundaries. You don't have to be everything to everybody.
Right,
You need to
right.
take that time for
And
yourself.
if you can, give us some of these pillars because I know they're sitting there like, okay, Jeanette, I'm trying, but I am going over to the new house where the kid is. I'm showing up at the school, making sure they got everything,
Yeah.
right? So what do you say to them? What are some of the pillars
The
that you could
pillars
give us?
that I teach in my course is optimal health. We teach about, health, how your health is important, your physical health, your mental health, and how also supportive relationships. You need
Mm.
supportive relationships in this. If I had had more friends or my family was there, but they were in Richmond. We were in
Yeah,
Atlanta. So I didn't
yeah.
have that support. I didn't even make an attempt to make friends, not really, until later on. I would see people and talk to them on the phone, but it's like, oh, I got my baby girl. I don't need y'all. I just need to talk
That's
to you
right.
every now and then.
That's
But
right.
and I didn't think about dating until after she moved out too. But
Hmm.
and optimal health, supportive relationships, and then self-awareness and spirituality. If you
Hmm.
tap into your self-awareness and your spirituality, those are some things that we look at in the curriculum. And wealth and abundance. How do you
Hmm.
tap into the wealth and abundance, as an empty nester?
Hmm.
To
Hmm.
go over that. And also your life purpose. What is your life purpose? Do we have a life purpose? Do we feel like we have a life purpose? Or do
Did
we
you
just
even think about it, or you thought all your life was supposed to be a good mom, right?
right?
Like, so that's my thing. Like, if this is all you know, how do you start to figure out what else is out there? Because that could be pretty scary, right? Where it's like somebody asks you, well, who are you? You say, well, I'm a good mom and I'm Sheila's daughter, and I'm Chris's great grandmother, or
Mhm.
grandmother. And it's like nothing pertains to actually who you are. But if it's all they know and they're trying to figure that out, that could be kind of scary, right? Because how do they start? All they know is what they've done.
Right. It's a long process, and you have to connect with other women who I believe who are in your same boat that you are in as far as an empty
Okay.
nester. And then sometimes other women who maybe, we can tell women who are going through it now, who have children, hey, you got to cut some boundaries there. You got to take some
Yeah,
time. I tell my friends now, my younger friends, I tell
yeah.
them, hey, you need to take some time out. Take some time out, get your husband or somebody to
Hmm.
watch those kids so you can take some dance lessons or go to the mall, whatever it is that you like to do. But some kind
Right.
of hobby, even if it's swimming, dancing, playing tennis or something. But a lot of times we don't take that time. But it's a process. It really is. It's not anything that you're gonna say, I can do it.
I heard from some women that, once the kids move out and all that stuff, it is hard to connect with their mates because even being married, the whole communication was everything was surrounded around the kids. Now you have this touch and go where you're looking at this person like, who the hell did I marry? Because it's different now, right?
Absolutely.
So how do you connect that way where you have your mate and y'all both empty nesters and y'all both
Right.
looking at each other like
And that
I had a girlfriend and a mate 30 years ago. I don't know what I got now.
exactly, because you really don't know each other because everything is surrounded by the kids. The football, the soccer, the baseball, the ballet, the this, the that. It's all surrounded by the kids. And that's why as couples, they need to make sure that they're taking that time themselves and having boundaries as a couple with your
Mhm.
kids. It's not just for single parents, but as a couple to have boundaries,
Right.
you
So
know.
would that be where they start to rekindle, who they are, or is that establishing a new relationship? Because over the years they've been battle tested, so now they're sitting down like, okay, well, what's gonna be the new me, or what's gonna be the new you, or what's gonna be the new
Right.
us, right?
I would advise even individually for both to seek out who they are and as
Yeah.
definitely as a couple. Because do you
Hmm.
even like each other anymore?
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, all these years, it's like, did we really like each other, or was it the fact that
Right,
we just got kids and so we
right.
took care of our responsibilities, right?
Right. And it's been
Wow,
25 years. Do I even know you? Because
that's
we've all
right.
changed. You've gained weight. I've gained weight. I now like something else that I didn't like back then. And, so it is. It's definitely a struggle as you get older and your kids are gone.
Yeah.
And, just to know who you are, like I said, individually, even as a couple,
Hmm.
to see
And
who they are.
inside of your course, do you have anything? Because I'm always interested
Mhm.
about how the kids feel leaving, because everybody believes that the kids feel excited to be out, but sometimes the kids have a hard time too, where they always coming back to the house, right? Where you
Yeah,
say,
yeah,
"Didn't you
yeah.
move out? Didn't you move out 2 months ago?" I did, but I don't have any food, right?
Right. Yeah, you do have that too. And I guess because my daughter was so independent, she
Yeah,
didn't come back for that. So no, I didn't add that because this is more geared toward women who are struggling more so because we're such caregivers. But no,
yeah.
there are some children who, yeah, they want to come back, you know.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
but most parents, because we're sitting here thinking, I don't have anything to do. They'll be like, okay, great, come on back. And then the
Right.
cycle starts again. And a
And
lot
that's when the
of times,
boundaries come in, right? Because
right.
it's like, this is your time. So if they do
Exactly.
try to come back, it's like, remember what you on. Remember the fact that now is your time to live and you did your job, right?
Right. Exactly. And I was going to say sometimes women will want them to come back, or either if it's the grandkids, it's like,
Yeah.
oh, now I have grandkids, so I'm
Yep,
going to
yep,
take
yep,
care.
yep. Oh man, it's so
So,
funny, Jeanette. I have a friend right now whose daughter just had a grandbaby. And when I tell you, I mean, she got the car seat, the camera on the
mhm.
phone for the daycare, got all this stuff. And I'm like, well, where's the mama? Okay,
Right,
is it you or is it your daughter? And she
right.
like both of us. And I'm like, see, you
Yeah,
got to figure out what your life is gonna be like
exactly.
now. And
Yeah,
she's just trying to make her life now about the grandkids' life,
right.
right? Because
Because
she's afraid to figure out what she wants on her own.
exactly. And you're
Mm,
exactly right, Gloria. Some people don't really want to know who they are. They want to
right,
stay in that vein of grandmother, mother, because, when you think about it, society tells us that, we're women, we are wives, we are, moms, this is what we do, we nurture. But no,
right.
we have a life. We need to take dance lessons. We need to take a trip by ourselves, you
That's
know,
right.
or with
That's
our
right.
girlfriends.
And try to date again, right? Because that's
Oh,
another thing for single women. We already know the patience is not as high as it was, right?
right.
But there's still options out there, right? So for
Yeah.
those women who are single who are now empty nesters, what is it that you would say to them?
Them, I would say, as I, told myself, it's just getting back out there and I would say, number one, though, get to know who you are before
Yeah.
you go on any dating apps or anything. Get to
Mm-hmm.
know who you are first. And
Mm-hmm.
then what is it that you're looking for? Because a lot of times,
Mm-hmm.
I've been in that position when my daughter was gone. I'm like, okay, dating. My daughter told me to go on dating apps, and I was like, no, I can't do that. And then I was
Yeah.
like, okay, well, maybe I can. But I
Mm-hmm.
didn't think about myself first. I'm just on dating apps, just
Just to say you was on it.
just going at it. Like, okay, I'm on
Yeah,
here. She told me I
yeah.
need to go on here, so I'm on here. But
Uh-huh.
and I was still trying to figure out who I was. So I was meeting people
Yeah.
men who didn't know who they were. I didn't know who I
Hmm.
was. So we just one big
Hmm.
mess.
That's right.
So, I had to put this dating on hold and like, okay, let Jeanette figure out who she is first.
Right,
What is it that
right.
I want to do? So I know if I meet somebody and he got his stuff together, then I got my stuff together. We good to go.
That's right.
You
That's
know.
right.
So
That's
yeah,
right.
it's definitely in the dating thing. When you get back out here, I talk about that in my book also about just getting back out dating.
Hmm.
It was a challenge
What
for
was
me.
that experience? Yeah, what was that experience like? Because I know for me, I'm divorced. I'm 44.
Mhm.
And I don't do online dating because I just feel like I want to go out and I want to meet somebody. Like I want to
Mhm.
have the conversation with the person. I'm a little bit old school in that area, right?
Right.
And so, but the thing is, it's kind of like what you said. It's like I live here in Atlanta, so you
Mhm.
have so many people and options and everything. With Jeanette, I just be like, you know what? We just gonna go home and sit down. We just gonna be okay, and we just gonna be okay because it feels like the older I get, the less patient I am
Absolutely.
and the more to the point I want to be because I want to be able to see if this is something I can pursue or not, where you don't want to waste time. Is that how it feels?
I've wasted some time, but I don't think it was wasted time. I
Yeah,
wasted time, but I didn't waste time because I think
right.
I always ask God, what am I to learn from this situation?
Yeah, yeah,
So he'll present me with something like the last situation I was in, it was like, you need to know self-love. So that's when
yeah.
I was like, okay, we're going to add that to this curriculum here. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so my
Mm-hmm.
lessons are for my ladies too.
Yeah,
It's for me and for them. Because
yeah.
self-love, because if you love yourself enough, you're not going to get strong alone.
Exactly.
You just not.
Exactly.
You
and
just not.
and you're not gonna be listening to anything and everything. You're
No.
gonna have yourself. You're gonna know yourself enough so when you're looking at this person, you can see if it's something that you want to pursue. And the good thing about having that self-love that I would say, Jeanette, is the fact that once you know you have that self-love, when you're talking to someone, you can tell when they don't have it and you can look and you can say, mm-mm, I,
Right.
I don't, I don't think I want to go through, I don't want to handle any of these issues that will come up later, right? Like,
Right.
I don't think I want to get into this situation because, mm-mm. And most of the time, and I would tell the ladies, and you can let me know if you agree. It's like when you out there dating, they will label you as being bougie or to this or to that. It's not that. It's just that you know yourself. And
Right.
because you know yourself and you love yourself, there's not a lot of people who are like you. There's not
No,
a
it's
lot of
not.
people who are like you out there. They're not men out there who's going through a course to help you with the six pillars or reading the book about, how to go ahead and have a life after being an empty nester. People who are working on themselves, right?
Right. Right. It's not a lot of men. I was just talking to someone this week and I told them, I said, I myself signed up for a love and relationship course
Mm-hmm.
because, to help me. What is it?
Right.
Why am I attracting these kind of people? So
Correct.
I signed up for that. I said, but when I meet men and they tell me they've signed up for a relationship course or a love and relation, I'm impressed.
Oh, that me too.
I'm
Yep.
impressed because that tells me you want something better too.
Exactly.
But if you're just going
Exactly.
through life and you're like, oh yeah, this happened and that. But yeah, if you're trying to improve yourself, I'm all with you. I'm with you.
Exactly. And be okay with the fact that while you're on your journey improving yourself, that everybody is not going to be for you. So it's not that you can't get nobody or you too old or you just don't have the patience. It's that the fact that you've been working on yourself. And a lot of people don't do that. So when you're asking questions and doing things, there's a lot of people who not doing that. But like what Miss Jeanette said, when you do find somebody and you impress with it,
Mhm.
then that might be something that you could go ahead and pursue,
Right.
right?
Yeah,
So tell
definitely.
me a little bit more about the book.
My book, like I said, is called A Step by Step Walk with God. And it's basically a kind of whimsical story about my walk with God.
Yeah.
And I tell the story of my life in chronological order about how God has helped me through various situations. And it's
Hmm.
some of the book, we're in the forest, some we're in the garden, some we're in
Yeah.
the mountains. But and he's trying to warn me of this and that that's coming. And
Yeah.
sometimes we don't listen and we just go right ahead. So
Hmm.
the book just tells about my story. It starts off with my life in Virginia and
Yeah.
ends up with my life here in Charleston, South Carolina.
Wow. So when did you know, when did you really start to listen to God's voice and got comfortable with it? Because I know for myself, I would hear it, but then act like I didn't hear it,
Mhm.
right? Because I wanted to make my own decision,
Right,
knowing that it didn't turn out the way it was. But
right.
I promise you, Jeanette, every time that I did listen and still do, things are much smoother,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah,
when did you know that this was the path for you to really listen to God's voice
right.
when you heard it?
Sometimes when I moved here, I'll just use this example. When I moved here to Charleston, I've been in Atlanta 20 some years, but I
Yeah.
had death in my family. My oldest sister passed away, and
Hmm.
I was like, I always wanted to live close to the beaches. So I
Yeah.
was like, I need some type of peace right now. I was like,
Mm.
God, I don't know what that means or what it looks like. But I came to Charleston for a week and just stayed at the hotel at the beach and it just felt right. And I talk about that in the book too. It just
Yeah.
felt right. So I
Yeah.
just said yes to Charleston. And I told my family when I came here, I said, I don't know how long I'll be here. I say, I'm here until I'm not here. I know
Gotcha.
it's not permanent because it was a situation where God had to take me out of where I was to bring me here to write my book, to be at peace. And then while I was here, I had another sister that passed away.
Mm.
So it was like I needed to be here for the peace. But
Yeah.
I also had somebody tell me recently, because I've been here and I've just been kind of low key since I've been here. And I'm normally a person, something, what of a social butterfly, but not
Yeah.
all the way. So
Yeah.
I had somebody tell me, it seems like now that you're existing, but not living.
Mm.
Ah,
Mm.
I was
Do you
like,
think
wow.
that's true?
I think I have been producing very well with business wise, but as
Mhm.
far as socializing, like I said, sometimes we can get because, and that too may have been God said, okay, it's time for you to come there, but I'm gonna let you know when it's time because I already said it wasn't permanent. I knew that when I came.
Mhm. Mhm. Well, maybe
And
this is your planting season. We always go through a season
mhm,
where we got to plant, we got to regroup, we got
right.
to, figure out what it is that we want. We got to be able to set our foundation. And then once the summer come and we start to blossom and see the fruits of our labor, then it's time to go ahead and become that social person, right?
And that's
You
where I
know,
am now. My book is
yeah,
out and the curriculum is out, and it's time for me to blossom. It's time for me
that's
to help
right.
some women. It's time
That's
for me
right.
to tell them, hey, you can't stay there. I
That's
can't
right.
stay there. They can, you all can't stay there.
Wow. Well, let us know how we can get in contact with you, how we could get the course and the book and everything that you have.
On my website, JeanetteJonesLifeCoach.com. You can
Mhm.
visit that and you can get all of that. And I also have a retreat that's coming up in October 14th through the 21st.
Where?
7 days in Costa Rica.
What?
And
Okay.
all your food is included. We're going to have energy healing. We're going to have yoga, meditation, massages, and just bonding time for women. They have a pool there. I went to there to a retreat. So it's a very nice place.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And everything is included.
Yeah, send me that info. We're doing
Every,
our retreat in June. But I know in October we're only doing our workshop, but it might be something that I can attend
oh,
if
okay. I would
time
love to have
permits
you.
and some of the women can, attend. And Costa Rica, absolutely. I never been there.
Oh
You
yeah.
know,
Yeah. That
so
was my
I would
first
love
time
the
there.
warm.
Yeah, and we just had a great time just bonding together and the energy healing going, looking at some things. Like I said, my thing is to heal women with self-awareness so that they can be
Absolutely.
self-aware of some things things that we're talking about to become more
Absolutely.
self-aware. Because sometimes we're working and working. I know in Atlanta it's fast paced.
Yeah,
It's
it
just
is.
boom, boom, boom.
All the time. And it has gotten to the point where you can't even get out your building without so much traffic because it's just growing and growing and growing. And
Right.
it's good, but at the same time, it's kind of like what you said. You want to make sure that you don't get lost in that and
Hmm.
really get to concentrate on what it is that makes you happy because sometimes we can get lost in the hype and still be running around trying to figure out who we are and what we like.
Oh,
But you
absolutely.
socializing every day and you going out every day, but you still don't know who you are, right?
Exactly, exactly. And I
You,
believe, Gloria, that that's why God led me here to
yeah,
Charleston, just to kick back, because, extra slow here. There's no
yeah.
Atlanta, which, which I knew, it was a total different environment when I came here. I was aware of
Right.
that. But right now, I'm like, okay, it's time for me to get up.
Yeah.
Time for me to
And
get
and
up.
and and get back to it. So yeah,
Yeah.
so give us the website one more time. And
It's
on the website we could get the book too, right?
Yeah, you can get the book and the retreat information. It's JeanetteJonesLifeCoach.com.
Jeanette, I had a great conversation with you. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
actually coming on. And again, it is just so just beautiful to talk to women who have and is on this journey because we just got to know at the end of the day, it's about living, right? It's
Yes.
about living. Something you said earlier, which most of the women know, but I always tell them is I lost my older sister too. She died of a pulmonary embolism
Mm.
where she thought she was going to the mall to go ahead and get some clothes for church the next day, but passed out coming out her house,
Wow.
right?
Hmm.
And I always said that that moment changed me because it showed me how we think one thing and life gives you something else, right?
Absolutely.
We think we got time.
Hmm.
We think we got time.
Yeah,
And then life tells us that you got to live every moment because you just never know when it's your time, right?
absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
when you thinking about what it is that you want for yourself and how you want to live and what it is that you want to do, it is important to do that,
Yes, absolutely. That was my reason for
right?
coming here. It was like, okay, I don't know, how much time I have. So
That's
I'm gonna
right.
go live by the beach and that's that. How long
I
I'm gonna
t-
be here in Charleston? I don't know. But I
right.
know it's coming to an end soon.
I told my friends I'm an organ donor, but I don't know if they're gonna be able to use anything. Because I'm using all my stuff. Right?
Yeah,
So
I know.
again, thank you so much for being here.
Okay.
And we'll definitely connect soon and send me the stuff about the retreat, okay?
Okay, I definitely will.
All
And
right,
thank
have a
you
good
so
night.
much for having me.
Absolutely.
Okay, take
Bye.
care.